Hey guys, it's John here and Forrest from Abode Real Estate Group back with your monthly market update. As promised, we are going to get these out to you guys within the first week of every month to kind of cover the previous month and try and stick to a regular schedule this year. So here is our update for February and also kind of a year so far.
We are going to do our best to get it out in the first week of every month. In news for John and I, we actually made President's Club for 2025, which was like a really big achievement for the both of us. For the last 8 years, we've always made Medallion Club, which is the top 10% of the Greater Vancouver realtors. And for 2025 this year, we're actually in the top 1%.
Finally happened.
All the realtors at the board. So we're over the moon. We're really happy about it. We worked really hard last year to get there, and we couldn't have done it without all of our clients and friends and family and referrals and all that. So thank you to each and every one of you that we've worked with who's ever sent us a referral. It means the world to us, and we're just absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, we've always been saying to ourselves that one day maybe we'll make President's Club, which is it's top 1% based on the quantity of deals you do, right? So I think it was a bit of a shock that we made it, but it's also, I think it was also amazing because, like, obviously last year was such a horrendous year in real estate. I mean, kind of transitioning into this next part of the video now is like 25-year lows in home sales, and that's not even factoring in population growth.
No.
So think about the change in population from the year kind of 2000 to 2025. The population is probably growing, what, 20% in this area, right? And how many homes have been built?
I will not quote population numbers, but
no, but because it's gone up.
Yeah, it's gone up.
So, with sales being at a 25-year low, we managed to obviously get a bigger slice of the pie.
For such an abysmal year, we actually came out really well. We did really well, so we're super happy.
And I sort of asked myself why.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's down to the fact that we were just very brutally honest with everyone throughout last year, where a lot of realtors were not, in terms of pricing, expectations, all that kind of thing. And I think that just led us to be able to be more efficient and get the job done in a more efficient manner. And it just it worked out a lot better. So thank you for listening. Thank you for working with us. Thank you for referrals, like Forrest said.
Thank you for watching these videos.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I mean, in terms of like last month, the good news is that the quantity of home sales in February was about 50% higher than January this year.
And that is kind of usually the case. They're always a bit higher, but with the slowdown that we had in the last quarter of the year and how abysmal January actually was, it does seem on paper like a good pickup. And when we're out and about, like, we're noticing things are selling faster if they're priced right and they're not just like a cookie cutter thing, right? Like, we just sold a place in New West and have a listing literally across the street that's been up for months. Fairly same specs. This one had an extra parking, an extra storage, showed well, was vacant, it sold in like a week. So it is as much of an inventory issue as it is a sales issue.
Yeah, and again, talking the inventory thing, and it still continues to kind of plague the market, this kind of backlog of sellers unable to sell for like 2 or 3 years. It's not uncommon to see listings that have come on the market 3 or 4 times in the last 3 years, and just kind of varying prices, never really hitting the mark. Some of them are now coming on at actually market value and actually selling, go figure, right? So I think it's just the kind of slow realization and obviously motivation and sellers' kind of individual situations play into it.
I really think too the marketing and the way photos are done and how things are shot for the listings is even more important right now, because it's only human nature as you're clicking through, like we do it, as I'm looking through listings, you see something that's really bad photos, or the angles are off, or it's just kind of like a very blah apartment. It's very easy for buyers to just skip. They're not really spending any time lingering on some of these listings, and they're just looking for the ones that actually stand out a little bit. So anything you can do in this market to kind of make your listing look as good as possible, whether that's like cleaning up the photos, digital editing, digital staging, like whatever you can do to kind of make things stand out, the more views you're going to have online, which in turn you're going to have more showing requests and hopefully sell faster.
It's just never been more important to price it right, market it right, and do everything you can to do that. And obviously we can't make people pay above market value in this market. It's just, we can kind of squeeze it, but the reality is people aren't willing to pay even market value in some situations, right? So it's again, I think this is why a lot of the realtors that are doing a lot of business are actually still doing fine, it's people that maybe haven't done it for a long time or haven't got the client base that are really struggling right now, and a lot of realtors are quitting. So it's I guess it's kind of a cleanse.
It's also having like an honest conversation with your sellers about their expectations, right? You can't just focus on the one individual sale. It's like advising them on what their plan is. You know, if yes, you're taking a bit less than you'd like to on this sale, but you're going to be able to make that up on the buy side. So I think anybody who doesn't have to sell for like they need more space or they want to make a move to be closer to their grandkids or whatever the case may be. If there's no urgency to sell or there's no really drive to get the deal done to move on to the next stage, the prices are just lingering. They're not doing their price reductions. They're not refreshing the listing. It's very common to see a listing up for like 150 days, and it's just like you should have taken it down and kind of done whatever you can to refresh it and get it back up, right?
Yeah, I'd say half the inventory out there is like that.
Yeah.
It's just, they're just kind of dreaming, right? But so that's why we get these listings where they kind of sell in a week, is because all the buyers go, that's a deal. I want that one. And then, there might only be, half the buyers there used to be, but they're all going to that select few listings every month, right? So that's kind of where we're at. I guess some other things to mention, if you look at like the year-over-year stats in terms of pricing, on the average in Greater Vancouver area is a 6.8% drop, which is quite significant. Bearing in mind though, we've had drops kind of for the last few years. I guess cumulatively we're down probably about 20% on average now since the peak, but the peak was wild. And I think we're seeing kind of it's anything from kind of 5 to 10 to give you kind of rough numbers on the drop. So like I think a lot of houses are down about 10%, especially kind of further out into the Fraser Valley and areas like that. But I think the bigger thing for me is that I'm seeing, and I think you probably agree with this, is the condition of homes. It's really like if you've got a home that's beautifully renovated and it was the same condition a year ago, the likelihood is it may have not moved that much. You may be down a few percent. But if you've got a home that needs a full reno, like it needs new windows, a new roof, like it's all original. I mean, I would say a lot of those are selling 15% below what they were selling for last year.
Yeah, it really depends on the product. And again, the whole overpricing thing, you're seeing like a regular BC box that's just like, you can look at the listing, you're like, well, this is $150,000 overpriced.
I keep seeing them out in Maple Ridge, like 1.3, and they need $100,000. And it's who's into that for 1.4? When you can go and buy like a new home in Silver Valley for that.
And half the time I feel like a lot of the cases realtors have taken these listings and taking them for the sake of taking them, and they're not really advising their clients super well. So they'll show them some comparables from long enough ago that they're being like, okay, well maybe we can get 1.3, and the realtor's not really being honest with them, being like, you're probably not going to get this. And now their expectations are quite high, and when like a reasonable buyer comes in with a good market value offer that's $120,000 less than their listing price, they've just got their back up against the wall and they don't want to take it. And that's why I think we're seeing such a slow turnover on a lot of these listings. It's just priced too high, and you're just wasting time on market, and the inventory just keeps stacking up for that kind of stuff, and there's just no buyers for it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I guess the negative is prices are down, and when it's happening anyway. The positive is that sales numbers have increased. So I think if this continues throughout the spring and we kind of get this kind of edging more towards normal levels of activity, we're probably going to see prices potentially stabilize a little bit. Will prices go up anytime soon? We've been very vocal about this. I think the answer is unequivocally no. I can't see any prices going up simply because there's more inventory coming, right? And I doubt there's going to be a shortage of inventory this year. It's just not possible.
I can't really see prices going up on anything. Maybe some levels of detached, you know what I mean? Like maybe like a slight 3% gain in some places,
maybe
for like really
years, maybe.
Yeah, like really nice things. But
it's are we
nothing
going
that's
to
going
go
to
back to? When are we going to go back to prices 2022? Like 2022 prices, 2023 prices even. We're probably looking at a number of 10 years. Well, I mean, you look at Vancouver West Side.
Yeah.
The prices now on Vancouver West Side
Yeah.
are lower than they were 10 years ago.
Exactly. We've seen a few houses that have turned over on the west side of Vancouver that are selling for less than 2016 prices.
And bearing in mind, they had a very, very significant boom around the kind of mid 2010, so 2013 to 2017. The West Side exploded. A lot of offshore money just before the foreign buyers tax and everything. That happened, and they have never recovered. You could argue the similar kind of thing happened in the suburbs during COVID. It was a complete bull run up, unprecedented, and now we've been bleeding out for a long time. Will we ever get back to that peak pricing again, which really only occurred over a 6-month period from the end of 2021 into early 2022? There was a real peak, kind of huge peak there. That peak pricing, I think, could be 10 years off.
Well, I think the only way to get to that peak pricing is to bring in, if 10 years from now, inflation's gone up, maybe some wages have gone up, and we need a run of very low interest rates again. So when's the next time we're going to see a 2% interest rate?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that would solve it. But if you did that right now, you absolutely have super high inflation. Right? And then I guess the war in Iran, which is obviously happening now, is another thing. I mean, we're going to see gas jump hugely. Right? We already have it. I think it's going to jump a lot more. And we're going to have a bit of an energy crisis here. So that's going to be inflationary as well. Could we see rates go up? I don't know. But it's too early to tell, really. Yeah. But there's all these things we're kind of keeping an eye on. But I think the general sentiment out there in the Metro Vancouver area is that we've had a lot of slow years, and I think some of the buyers are just kind of not putting it off anymore and getting back.
It's just time to make a move for people.
But so are the sellers. So
so nothing too much to update you with this month, but we will obviously be back at the beginning of next month and give you another update. And thanks again for watching as always. And again, thank you so much for all your referrals and all the business that you've given us over the years. And we're just so ecstatic to have made President's Club this year. It's really amazing. So
smile.
Thank you again. Yes, thank you again.
All right, guys. Thank you. We'll see you next month. Bye. Bye-bye.